Oh, another day. You got a notification quick then. I've been live for 1 minute. That's MAGA Sage to you. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I saw your post last night. I just got emailed a story that I hope so much is true because it made me laugh about the maggots. God, I hope it's true so much. Shit, I shared the wrong post. Oh well, I'll share this one too.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to
Let the kids run around. We don't care.
anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away. Burn away, we feel betrayed.
I never liked kids anyways. That's it. That's the music. Here we go.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us, guys. I got some funny stuff to show tonight, and then we got some serious stuff. The one big beautiful bill is ready from the House side. Doesn't mean that it'll make it through Congress. Doesn't mean that it'll be passed. But it's not great. Like even the CBO, like we were talking about last night, it's going to kick off 8.6 to 8.7 million people off Medicaid. Probably going to kick some people off food stamps. They're changing the definition of a dependent for food stamp purposes from anyone under 18 to anyone under 7. For anyone under 7. And that has to do with like work requirements. So right now, let's say you're a single mom and you've got kids. You don't have work requirements. You can still work, right? A lot of them do, like work part-times, but you don't have to verify to the state that you work enough hours to receive food stamps because you've got a kid under 18 and they probably need rides to school or sports or, child care. Maybe you have to watch them. They're not in school yet. Their thinking is that, if kids are older than 7, they're in school. So you need to be working while they're in school, but they don't think about like, what about after school stuff? What about the summer? Right? What about the summer? And those kids are out. So, they're trying every way they can. And of course, this is the way they do it, right? They're not going to come out and say, we're going to kick out 8.6 million people. They're going to come out with new regulations that disqualify enough people to where they save some money, right? They're going to, back to Medicaid, they're going to limit how much they're paying to the states in credits because a lot of states can't afford their Medicaid program, so the government subsidizes that program. But they're going to reduce those credits to the states, probably make a couple of them go bankrupt, A lot of fucked up shit that, I don't know. This administration fucked me from the get-go. Dude, we were actually doing decent, like between my VA disability and we had unemployment. Until we could work back at the campground, right? And I think we had I had almost 4 months of unemployment left, and Mariah had 3 months of unemployment left. And then for some reason they just turned it off on April 5th, at the federal level. It's called disaster unemployment. You have to deplete your regular unemployment, which is only like 12 weeks or something like that through Tennessee. You deplete the regular unemployment, and then disaster unemployment kicks in, which is funded by the federal government. But Trump, where he ran that he's going to take care of North Carolina because the Democrats didn't do anything. They just gave him $75 and told them to kiss their ass. Well, Trump and his administration turned off the disaster unemployment on April the 5th across the board for everybody. So there you go. we were actually making it decent. And we're able to work and try to get the campground back going and get our lives back in order. But then they're just like, fuck that. You don't need that. We'll claw back those few $100s a week or whatever it was. Oh, well. Anyways, let's start in a couple different places. This may be the funniest video that I don't know anybody in it that I've ever seen in my life. Are you ready, chat? Here we go. I know who Meek Mill is, the rapper Meek Mill. And there are accusations about Meek Mill doing weird stuff with Diddy. I don't know if they're true. There's a bunch of these audio recordings about Diddy. And then Diddy's got a bunch of stuff going on in his case right now. A bunch of weird shit, dude. I guess Diddy and, is it Cassie, the girl? Apparently Diddy hired a male prostitute to come and sleep with Cassie while Diddy sat in the cuck chair and watched. Apparently he liked to sit in the chair and watch while he kind of yanked on it, right? Very weird things. See, he said the first time he ever went there, this is all in the testimony. First time he ever went there, Diddy was just silent, sat in the corner, didn't say anything, didn't do anything, and just kind of yanked it. Then someone explained it to go what masturbation is. Then he said every subsequent visit that he went there, he was given direction. Too fast, too slow, too shallow, too deep. Don't finish yet, finish later, kind of deal. They even, I know it's a joke, like the Diddy meme about baby oil is like a joke. In this guy's testimony, I bet you he mentions baby oil 85 times, including one time where he got there, they said they weren't ready yet, so they sent him down the street to the pharmacy, a prostitute, to buy baby oil for them. Like, the baby oil thing is a meme, but it's 100% real as well. Crazy shit. He talks about he was giving Cassie a golden shower, and he had never done it before. So she like freaked out. She's like, it's too much. It's too much. She was drinking it, not just under it. She was drinking it. And she's like, it describes it to, you're just supposed to let it dribble out. And then another time where he finished in Cassie, I think that's her name. Am I saying the name right? The female? I'm sorry. He said that Diddy provided the Cialis and the baby oil, okay? And the Cialis was to make him go longer because the first time he went, he's like, well, she's, beautiful. I hadn't been with nobody in a few days or whatever, so I finished really quick. So from then on, he was provided Cialis from Diddy. And one time, Diddy was in the cuck chair. He was going at it with Cassie. And he said they had just been doing it for hours. So it was kind of uncomfortable or whatever. So the guy, faked the O inside of Cassie, right? He was inside her. Didn't pull out, not in her mouth, not in her vagine. And he was like, oh, did his like routine like he usually does and faked it. Then he got his stuff and left the bedroom, but went into like the regular room. They asked him to step outside. He says after about 10 minutes that whatever Diddy was doing, I'm assuming going in there after it. About 10 minutes that Diddy came out of the bedroom and approached him. He's like, you sure you finished in her? And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, no, you didn't, man. No, you didn't. I know it. Very, very weird stuff. Yeah, the very strange, very weird things. Cassie would rub other men's fluids on Diddy's nipples. He enjoyed that. Golden shower. We might go over that one day. All the testimony. There's a guy, I think his name is like Secret Service Sam or something like that. There's a lawyer on TikTok that just reads the court documents in like family-friendly versions so he doesn't get banned. But there's so many court documents now, it'd be hard to stay ahead of it. Like, we'd be so far behind. I might just use somebody else that reads them. Anyways, all that was to get to the story about Meek Mill. So a lot of people accuse, there's like this audio, supposedly of Meek Mill and Diddy, and it sounds like maybe they're having a little baby oil time, okay? But no one knows if that audio is real or not. But a lot of the black community, especially rappers, especially like up-and-coming rappers, have already written it off. They've already said Meek Mill's gay, right? He's a gay dude. He gets fucked by Diddy. They've already written it off. But I don't know who these other people in this video are. Watch this video. It makes sense, to be honest with you.
What do you think about Meek Mill denying being held hostage by loose cannon?
The gay or the straight one? The gay or the straight one?
The gay what? The gay or the what?
The gay or the straight Meek Mill? It's two.
There's two Meek Mills.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a gay one and it's a straight one.
I mean, I would assume this is the straight one.
Oh yeah, the straight one. What do you say?
I don't know there was a gay one.
Yeah, the one with Diddy in the pool, that's the gay one. But it's two. The one that rap and battle rap, that's the straight one. So which one we got to clarify which one we talking about?
Probably the straight one.
Okay, what'd he do?
He denied that Loose Cannon held him hostage because Loose Cannon went on a few shows and said that.
So this is a different backstory that he's asking him about. That he's asking if he believes it. What he's saying is that a guy named Loose Cannon claimed that he kidnapped Meek Mill and held him hostage until Rick Ross, another rapper, showed up and paid hostage, like a fee for him.
He held Meek Mill hostage until Rick Ross paid him $50,000.
Oh yeah, that's the gay one. You got to say it right. That's the gay one. That's the gay one that said that. Because the gay one be lying. That's happened for real. Right? Listen, all these rappers get extorted. Especially in L.A. Listen, no big rapper have came through L.A. and didn't pay. So if they didn't pay, they laid.
So he's basically saying, well, that's the story, whatever. But there's no rapper that ever came up through L.A. that didn't have to, be at one of Diddy's freak-offs.
We came to LA.
Come on, gang. We almost.
And his buddy says, we came up from L.A. We didn't lay. We didn't pay. We didn't get laid. And he's like, come on, man. We almost got killed.
We almost got killed, gang. We almost got killed. Stop playing with me. You got to pay in L.A. Stop playing on me. Listen, one thing about Meek Mill, he can't even admit that he like dick. When you can't even walk into yourself, how can we take anything you say the truth? Right? If that's true, then go ahead and say you suck puffy dick.
So it's starting to get hot. Now, another thing he's going to mention is for some reason, when this all came out, Meek Mill, instead of just trying to prove his innocence or like working with a lawyer or whatever to prove like he had nothing to do with Diddy, he goes on social media and says, I'll give $100,000 to any detective who can prove that I was not involved with Diddy's freak-offs. Which seems like a weird way to approach it, right? Why wouldn't you just get your legal team and be like, hey, we need to prove where I was at when apparently these things happened, prove that wasn't me on the tape, prove it. It seems like weird to like run a contest for detectives, but whatever.
Say that then. Say that your booty hole is loose. Say
what?
That then. Right? That's when I started back listening to Meek Mill. Right? Because the gay one is the straight one. And the straight one is the gay one. Because gay and straight the same. But yeah, I believe that happened. Because if you want to look at it, it always happened in L.A. And why would they mention it? L.A., they run their mouth. They can't wait to tell. They go on podcasts and tell everything. Come on, gang, stop playing with me. You know that happened. You know that happened. And Meek Mill a bitch. I don't give a fuck about Meek Mill. About him. I'm for real, gang. I don't give a fuck about Meek Mill. Who give a fuck about Meek Mill? He got out of jail and what'd he do? Nothing. He did shit since he been out of jail.
Here's the funny part. It's getting funny, I promise.
But say, I'll give you $100,000 if you prove I'm not gay. What kind of man say that? What kind of man got to pay to prove he's not gay? Stop playing on me. I told you, want to prove you're not gay, pull your pants down, show your booty hole then. Gay, your booty hole got wrinkles in it. He got a loose booty. I bet you that booty hole wrinkled as hell. That man gay. Meek Mill, if you watching this, you got 24 hours to show your asshole. 24 hours, nigga.
Meek Mill, if you're watching this, you got 24 hours to show your asshole.
You got 24 hours to show your ass, nigga. I want to see that ass.
No, we don't.
I gotta make sure you're not gay.
We don't want to see that ass.
He got 24 hours, so not the whole ass. I just want to see the whole part. I don't want to see the whole, not the booty. I don't want to see the booty. I just want to see the whole part.
So if it has wrinkles, that's how you can tell, okay? They figured it out. You've got 24 hours to post your asshole, okay? 24 hours to post your asshole, Meek Mill. You've been put on notice. Then we had this breakdown at Walmart. You have to listen closely, but the guy screaming at Walmart is saying, "I fucked your man," to a lady who's also at Walmart. I'm going to fuck your man again, is what he just said. I fucked your boyfriend.
Fuck your boyfriend, bitch. And I ate his butt. And I ate his butt. And I ate his butt. Yeah, and I ate his butt out.
And I ate his butt out.
Yeah, like I told you, you can't take checkers to Cash App. I'm right about that. So we won't be petty. I'm more petty than you. I wasn't stupid as low as me. I'm more petty than you. Man, go. Fuck your man again.
Just a regular Walmart interaction, I guess. And then you guys remember when the shake weight come out, how it like revolutionized fitness? It was a big deal, right? Gigantic bodybuilders all went to shake weights. That's like some people's entire routine. Mariah's good with one. This guy calls himself the Henry Ford of fitness. He's got a brand new invention. He's bringing out. He's called the Henry Ford of fitness.
If people go to the gym and pay lots of money, that is because they want to see results. No nice looking and expensive workout machines. Overall muscle.
Look at them arms.
California.
Bro, he's got it figured out.
Dear gym owners, if people go to the gym.
I think the twist is what adds that little bit of peak, right? That little bit of peak.
And pay lots of money.
That's what makes it pop.
That is because they want to see results. No nice looking and expensive workout machines.
That's what I was told when you're doing like isolation curls and you get it all the way up and then you do just a little bit more. You feel that little bit extra with just that. I think that's what the twist does. At Suko, this is what Diddy was doing in the corner when you're like, what does yanking it mean?
Overall muscle. Singer, California.
The Henry Ford of fitness. So there you go. He's got a whole Instagram page. Is this the same workout machine? Yes, it is. Look, he's fixing to get it. Look, it's adjustable and everything. Get after it, bro. You got it. It's always a two-handed technique as well. Yeah, I mean, the guns don't lie, right? Look at him. Look at him. He's got excellent tricep definition. There's the original. Say whatever you want, but this man has bigger arms than anyone else here. Is the wrist twist necessary? Hit me for the fitness. What are you paying for? He's got RoboCop having an orgasm. Damn, T.O., you should do a video of how to do those. Ayo, Juan, with all due respect, homie, your fitness equipment design is out of fucking line. If it works, it works. Can you do it with your feet? Can you do it with your feet? I'd pay extra. I hope you have a patent for that. Joe Biden looking slimy over here. He's got it, dude. I don't know why people don't understand. He's figured it out. He's got it taken care of. Let's talk about Trump's L's this week. You gonna go there? Trump stacking L's this week. Let's talk about them.
Welcome to the circus where we are governed by the Clownstitution. It's time to talk about Donald Trump's L's for the week so far. It's only Tuesday. The grifter got grifted. You offered a private dinner to the 200 people who held the most of your meme.
So this is actually a story that's happening right now. Trump picked winners for who held the most. So there was no, in this agreement that he made with the winners, there was no agreement for them to hold the coins through the dinner. So some people bought the coins, got picked for the dinner, which is like, you know, they got a week to prepare or whatever. Then they sold all the fucking coins. So instead of being there with his biggest investors, he's going to be there with a bunch of people that sold out when the price was high, made money, and don't hold any of his coins.
Meme coin, trying to drive the price up. But because your lawyers didn't write the rules.
I've actually got that microphone. It's not meant to be held like that. It's a clip. I clip it in my beard sometimes.
Very well.
Or my shirt.
People dumped all of their coins right before you announced the winner. And now you're...
Thank you for the donation, by the way. I did see you comment earlier. Was it Jilly's mom, I think? Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. If you want to support the show, you can do that at coldbeer.fund. That's how we pay the bills around here, and right now we are struggling. But we're working on getting back on our feet. But if you want to support the show financially, go to coldbeer.fund. There's a bunch of links, PayPal, buy me a coffee, all the links there on this webpage. We greatly appreciate it. Back to the video.
You're going to have dinner with people who hold none of your coins. Speaking of getting screwed, lawyers are starting to sound the alarm about you accepting a plane from Qatar, but not because of the bribery part, but because it's a piece of junk. It's over.
So I was under the impression, the way Trump said it, is this was like a brand new plane. But apparently the plane from Qatar, although it was worth $400 million, it's apparently a 10-year-old plane that needs quite a bit of work outside of all the work, like close to $1 billion worth of shit that have to make it Air Force One. So it's a 10-year-old plane that needs work. Not that I think you should be allowed to accept it anyways. But when it was built, it's 13 years old. I'm sorry. Over 10 years old is what I keep here. It would take probably 3 years, 2 to 3 years to convert. The shortest is like 2 years, 10 months. The longest is like almost 4 years. So around 3 years to convert. It's 13 years old. This isn't even worth a fucking bribe. You know what I mean? Like, it probably needs a shit ton of maintenance. Especially because, you know, I'm sure you guys know this, but the luxury items, like this is literally called like a mansion in the sky. It's a super luxury jet. Okay, like the rooms that are in it and the furniture. Super luxury items don't typically age well. Okay? Not a lot of people will buy like a fucking 10-year-old Lamborghini. Okay, maintenance is high, and that's not their market. They make something extremely nice, extremely well built, that'll last their billionaire purchasers for 5 years or 10 years, however long they think they'll keep it. Okay? Super high end, like fucking Mercedes and Lambos and Ferraris and shit. When it starts getting time to like do major maintenance, it's extremely expensive. It's hard to do, and a lot of the things are falling apart. So they probably made this for a 10-year, like whoever buys this is going to buy it for 10 years, and they're going to be stupid fucking wealthy from like the oil industry, and they'll just buy a new one. So it probably is really nice. It's probably stupid. I would say stuff is fucking coming off of it, right? It wasn't made to have a life of more than 10 years. Plane is 13 years old. Now my sense of national pride has taken a few hits over the last. I used to believe the all-shining city of on a hill garbage, for example, now settle happily for a city that does not betray its friends and allies and kiss the asses of its enemies. Who's this op-ed? But guys, there are limits. According to ABC News, the plane will initially be transferred to the United States Air Force, which will modify the 13-year-old aircraft to meet U.S. military specifications required for any aircraft used to transport the President of the United States. Multiple sources familiar with the proposed arrangement said. In other words, we're getting a used vehicle that needs a whole lot of work – that's frankly beneath the dignity of even our degraded status. even on top of that, I mean, that's just insane. That it's already a fucking 13-year-old plane. And literally, by the time this one is retrofitted, the other ones will probably be done or close to done. Whatever.
Over a decade old and apparently needs a lot of repairs. Just out here in the flying version of the used minivan that I drove in high school. McDonald's.
By the way, the Attorney General should not be speaking on this topic at all, okay? She used to represent Qatar, okay? She has lobbying registrations on behalf of the Embassy of Qatar when she was paid $115,000 a month for Pam Bondi, okay? So are we going to trust Pam Bondi to say whether this is legal or not?
Sales often a bellwether for economic.
This is actually really bad. This is from Ground News as well. McDonald's sales, as much as people hate McDonald's, it's good for kids, it's good for quick. It's usually a bellwether of how the economy is doing. How people believe in the economy, whether they're saving, whether they're spending. McDonald's sales are low. Almost as low as during COVID.
Economic health are way down. Largest decline since COVID, when people literally could not leave their houses. Nissan is closing 7 factories around the world, citing your economic instability. And China's out there telling everyone in the world that you lost a trade war because you did. And
okay, this is my biggest pet peeve. Trump and his administration, stop lying. I don't even want him to do bad. I want him to do good. I want him to do good for me, right? I don't want him to do bad and fuck me all the time. But I do want him to stop fucking... How long have they been talking about, or how much have they been talking about this amazing, the greatest deal, some say the best deal? There's never been a better deal with China. Do you guys know they don't even have a deal? There is no deal in place. They've agreed to a cooling off period to lower the tariffs until they can come up with a deal. Just like when he did the announcement with the UK, there's nothing here, dude. There's nothing here. The House is trying to make it a law about his de minimis exemption. So right now, or before Trump, if you ordered anything for personal use under $800, you didn't have to pay tariffs on it no matter what. So, like, I order electronics for, like, remote control shit and for, like, projects. My 3D printers, all the electronics for them typically come from China. And because I'm not a business, right, it's just me doing it, I don't have to pay tariffs on it. Or didn't. You didn't used to. Or import tax or what duties, whatever. They're trying to legalize that as well. So he's raising the tariffs, getting rid of any loopholes. Now we're in a cooling off period, which still has higher tariffs than we've ever had before. This Trump does not have a deal. There is no deal. The deal is, let's lower the tariffs till we figure out what we're doing.
All we got for it is a 30% tax hike. Yeah, I bet.
It did get lowered some. It's still not gone. Like, it was just gone, right? Or it didn't exist before. The de minimis claim was under $800. I personally think it should be $1,000. No company is going to import, like 100 separate shipments to like exploit this loophole. And if they are, you should punish those companies. But regular people importing stuff for like hobbies or to fuck around or work on their own shit should be excluded from that. I think it should be $1,000. And there should be no fucking tariffs on it. And then this leads into this next story. Trump now wants everyone to stop asking when the trade deals are coming. Again, there was no Chinese trade deal. He just announced it so people would stop fucking asking him. I think even Mr. Global did a video on this. He was fucking pretty hot. Hold on. me see if I can find it. But that's just, the de minimis thing is just under Trump right now. The Republicans are trying to pass it into law. They're trying to put it in their big beautiful bill or whatever. This is it right here. Can I get to his comments from this? Hold on. Give me just a second. It's one of these videos, but I can't get back to the thing. Oh, I think this is it.
So we don't have a trade deal, in fact. Shocker. Shocker. We don't have a trade deal. Who would have thought? We would have all been told something by the White House and all the media outlets that was completely false. Because we don't have a trade deal. We have a cooling off period. We're going to temporarily lower tariffs. That's it. We have exactly what China wanted. That's it. And this is the problem with this entire administration.
China is going around the world saying that they won the trade deal.
Single step of the way, we are lied to about what's happening and about how things work. And you expect us to trust the process. You expect us to trust the process when you lie about every single thing that you do. And you wonder why the people don't trust what you're doing when you lie every time you open your mouth. And people would say, oh, Donald Trump could cure cancer, and you would complain about that. One, no, he couldn't. But two, he would absolutely lie about doing it, and half of you people would believe him. And that's what I would complain about.
Yeah, so someone said Rolls Royce to appreciate it the same way. I think so. And I'm not shitting on, like, I would love to own a fucking Ferrari. Dude, if I could get an F40 one day. Anyways, I would love to own one of those things. But they're not made for longevity. They're made extremely super high end for the new buyer who owns it for 5 years, and then when it goes to secondary market, it's a lot of times it's super cheap, it's shit, and it's incredibly expensive to maintain. Rolls Royce, any super luxury brands like that.
That's what I complain about. So instead of coming out and say, hey, we talked to China, we're going to do this 90-day cooling off period where we're both going to reduce our tariffs while we try to figure out some sort of trade deal. Instead of doing
that's the announcement they should have made. Is, hey, we don't have a deal. We have a 90-day cooling off period.
That,
the F40s are like the holy grail.
Come out and say, hey, we've just agreed to the greatest trade deal that's ever happened in the history of the world. You haven't even completely unfucked what you fucked to begin with, and we're supposed to think this is the greatest trade deal ever. Oh, well, you just want Donald Trump to fail. No, I don't. I don't want Donald Trump to fail at all. I want him to quit lying to me because I'm not like you. Do you understand? I'm not like you. I don't just accept being lied to on a daily basis and cheer for it. That's not who I am. That's who you are. I don't understand what is so difficult about having people in Washington, D.C. that simply tell us what is actually happening. I don't understand it.
I honestly think they're doing this just because, like this says, Trump's tired of people asking, when are the trade deals coming? You said there would be trade deals. You said you had 200 countries that wanted to make deals.
Why is that a problem? Anybody who represents us in Washington, D.C., who puts their poll numbers before the truth, and that's what this whole thing is, they understand that a large portion of the people in this country will believe anything they say. So they say anything they have to keep their poll numbers up, because to them, that's more important than any.
There's still a 30% tariff on Americans. We're paying that tax. And exactly zero manufacturing moved back to the U.S. And now we're just hanging out for 90 days. See what happens.
Anything else. It's more important than the truth. It's more important than policy. It's more important than the well-being of the American people. It's more important than the well-being of this country is their poll numbers. I don't care about your poll numbers. Your poll numbers mean nothing. It's like we've just gotten so soft as a country, we have to be lied to now. We have to be lied to, or we just couldn't get through the day. Would you allow the people that work for you to lie to you every day in your business? Then why do you allow it from politicians?
There was a response to this video, too. Someone said, every headline I see is 90-day pause, not trade deal. Where's the lie at? And he's going to respond to that.
You're lying. You have to be lying. In response to me saying the White House lied about having a trade deal, this person says, every headline I see says 90-day pause, no trade deal. Where's the lie?
So I can show you the video. It literally says, it says, art of the deal, U.S.-China Inc. initial trade deal.
Hello? McFly? Oh, but you said headline. So let's look at the first, 7 results I got when I searched this. U.S.-China trade deal. Trade deal. Trade deal. Trade deal. Trade deal. Trade deal. Why do you people do this? Why do you do this? This is disturbing behavior. It is. There's something wrong with you people. There's literally something wrong with you people. Yeah, good luck with that. You're lying. You have to be lying.
Anyways, back to his else. Trump wants people to stop asking when the trade deals are coming.
Leave me alone. Speaking of things you just don't want anyone to ask you about, you promised to end 2 wars 4 months ago. What wars have you ended? 0. 0 wars. Although you did
He's telling people close to him that he's frustrated they can't get the wars ended.
almost start one with Canada. So you have spent $21 million to fly people to Guantanamo, and it's 32 people. Wait, it gets...
Holy shit. No. 2,000 bits. That's not great. Damn it. Here we are.
This is to my friend T.
My baby Dolly. Haha, you got me. That's the new Kanye song there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get it on, everyone. Oh, yeah.
It's so long, too, and uncomfortable. Thank you very much, Austin.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Dance and break.
Let's get it on. Oh, yeah. Let's get it on.
Thank you for the donation. Ooh.
Okay.
The thrust. The thrust. I'm out of breath.
Cleansing time.
I wonder if Scott knows how popular he is here.
I gotta take a break. Okay, hope that works for you.
Hope that works for you, Austin. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Next article says Pentagon spent at least $21 million on immigration flights to Guantanamo, which currently holds 32 people, 32 migrants.
It's better. 32, and you promised 30,000. And most of the people you've sent down there have been flown back to the States because of some screw up you made.
Oh, no.
Support people right. You're screwing up so bad that Homeland Security is going to run out of money by July. ICE
Yes.
is already $1 million in the red.
ICE is negative $1 million in their budget. They're stealing it from other people's budgets.
Reality TV star Secretary of Transportation has destroyed Newark Airport to the point that he won't let his own
I don't know if you see this. Sean Duffy, who's now the head of the transportation, right, says he and his family fly out of Newark all the time. He's been switching his wife's flights out of Newark to LaGuardia. He's not letting his own family fly out of Newark.
family fly out of it. Municipal pensions are starting to divest from Tesla, and they're sending employees on furlough. Pro tip, not calling it a furlough doesn't mean it's not a furlough. That's a furlough. Cadwalader, Wickersham, and Taft, New York's oldest law firm, caved to you as soon as you wrote an executive order about them, and now everyone is quitting. Nobody wants to.
Oh, no.
Is that also why your DOJ can't keep a lawyer? Your conservative friends tried to bribe the...
I have not even looked this up, But it says MAGA tries to sway Pope vote with $100 bottles of wine. Let's look this up. It looks like a Daily Beast. It is the Daily Beast. Called it. Let's see what it is. Rich conservative Catholics say they could raise $1 billion for the church so long as we have the right pope. As the College of Cardinals prepares to vote on a new pope this week, conservative U.S. Catholics are trying to woo them with expensive meals and donations if the right pope is selected. Starting Wednesday, the 133 cardinals who are eligible to vote will sequester themselves for the conclave, the millennium-old process of picking a new pope. The cardinals who meet in the Sistine Chapel will remain cut off from the rest of the world until 2/3 of the electors have agreed on the late Pope Francis' successor. By the way, this conclave thing, there's some stories from like inside the conclave. Like it gets disgusting. Like they're all sweaty and they all stink. They're not showering. They're staying in there for days. Fights have broken out. Like it's pretty crazy. The period before the conclave is always one of intense lobbying, as it's the last chance for anyone besides the electors to get any say in the process. The 9-day mourning period after Francis's death happened to coincide with the annual fundraising week called America Week, in which wealthy American VIPs make a pilgrimage to Rome to raise money and pledge funds to the Vatican. The event started with the Papal Foundation, a charitable organization whose members must donate at least $1 million to join. Following President Donald Trump's re-election this week has gone to include other conservative Catholic groups hoping to expand their recent political wins, the New York Times reported. About 80 members of the Papal Foundation made the trek in honor of the 2025 Jubilee year, Vatican News reported. The group's president, Ward Fitzgerald III, God, he sounds like a piece of shit billionaire, has said the organization's purpose is to serve the successor of St. Peter and support the church wherever the needs are greatest. Under Pope Francis, that meant a particular focus on serving the poor, Fitzgerald told the Vatican News. The foundation has given more than $250 million in grants, scholarships, humanitarian aid since 1998, including $14.7 million in 2024, according to its website. But during an event last week at the St. Regis Hotel in Rome, the foundation said it would increase its annual donations to $30 million with the goal of raising an additional $750 million in the future, the Times London reported. Trump's favorite cardinal, Timothy Dolan, is the foundation's chairman. The Archbishop of New York has insisted that Trump takes his Christian faith seriously, even after the president posted an AI-generated image of himself wearing papal robes and mitre. I don't know how to say that word. M-I-T-R-E. Mitre? Dolan joked during an opening speech at the St. Regis Ballroom that the venue, which has the chandeliers, columns, and ceiling frescoes, was nice, but not as nice as the Sistine Chapel. During the event, the wealthy VIPs made their preference for the next pope clear. This room could raise $1 billion to help the church, so long as we have the right pope. One guest, a reporter told the reporter from the Times. The Napa Institute, a MAGA-friendly Catholic network based out of California, also led a once-in-a-lifetime pilgrimage to Rome this year that just happened to land its members in the middle of the pre-conclave action, the New York Times reported. Founder Tim Bush recently described the Trump administration as the most Christian administration he'd ever seen in his lifetime. Oh, thank you. Love the show and the emotional support and all the beer family have given me in the dark days. Thank you very much, Thomas Mullen, for the donation. I appreciate it. This guy, Tim Bush, says the Trump administration is the most Christian administration he'd ever seen in his lifetime, despite the president's admitted lack of charity. Napa Institute members are staying in the Hotel de Ruzzi, a 5-star luxury hotel in the heart of the Eternal City, where rooms start at 2,000 euros, $2,200 per night. Since Pope Francis' funeral on April 26th, they've joined Cardinal James Harvey, another American who will vote for the next pope, for a private dinner, the Times reported. Over the weekend, they also attended a dinner at the Political University of St. Thomas Aquinas, also known as the Collegio Angelico, where Bush served his Trinitas Cellars wines, according to the National Catholic Reporter. The Faith Collection wines retail from $50 to $125. About 20% of the Napa Institute's members are affiliated with Opus Dei, a secretive Catholic sect with deep ties to Project 2025. According to the book, Opus, the cult of dark money, human trafficking, and right-wing conspiracy inside the Catholic Church. The book, Jesus Christ, I never knew they were this deeply tied to the Catholic, which I guess with, what's his name, J.D. Vance, they probably died pretty deep into it, huh? Anyways, they were trying to sway the Pope. They did not get what they wanted.
The College of Cardinals to pick a new pope that they liked. $100. Yeah, that didn't work. Remesa Ozturk has been released, and you're about to get sued.
Uh-oh.
You had to reinstate a bunch of employees from the CDC. Black lung is bad. Did you know that? Did you know that?
CDC has to reinstate workers who screen coal miners for black lung. Should they have ever been fired? I know the Opus Dei arguments, right? That they are a far-right, ultra-conservative organization and that they pull strings behind the scenes in the name of religion and right-leaning ideology.
And a federal judge has paused all of your reductions in force. More than half of Americans think you're being really weird about college.
Most Americans, over half, disapprove of Trump's treatment of colleges, a new AP NORC poll finds.
You should probably stop. And everyone on the planet thinks you're a loser.
This is bad. This is a big deal. Global perceptions of the United States as a whole now fall below China. When you go to a random country and you say, do you think more of the United States or of fucking China? They pick China.
Worse than Xi. And everyone on the planet thinks you're a loser. Worse than Xi. And actually, on most questions, worse than Putin. It's okay, babe.
On most questions, we were worse than Russia.
And actually, on most questions, worse than Putin. It's okay, babe. I'm sure you'll feel like a big man when you get in that fancy new plane. Mwah.
Not doing great. And then, this is the story that I hope is true. You guys remember when we went over this website? It's called GetTrumpWatches.com. And it says President Trump's Red Beauty, fight. It's got Donald Trump's signature. You can't see it for the chat. But there they are, right? Donald Trump's signature, 45 through 47. Trump in gold and black, two-tone, fight silver, custom presidential watch, fight red, fight silver. They're all fight. They got First Lady editions. That's this pink one over here that's kind of cut in half. These watches, they are very expensive. $500, $600, $700 watches, okay? A lot of people heard about these either from like Rumble ads or radio ads, local radio ads, or got an email newsletter, and they said, use Trump's own voice. It wasn't AI. He did a recording for them that said, get my watch now, show your support, blah, blah, blah. It was a radio ad, or at least a recorded ad. On the video format of it, it just shows a picture of him and the watches, and you can hear his voice, but it's actually his voice. He officially endorses this. Then we get this coming out of several news stations. Rump. Customers upset with the missing T in Trump-branded watch that costs $640. Providence, Rhode Island. A man in Rhode Island bought his wife Donald Trump-branded watch as a gift, but what they got was a Rump watch due to an unfortunate typo on the watch face. I hope this is true. Tim Pettit paid $640 for a limited edition Trump watch that is only one of 250 ever to be made. I thought it was really nice, it was beautiful, and I knew it would be something that she liked, he said. Pettit bought the watch after hearing an ad for it on the radio featuring Trump himself. With the president's voice, I was curious, so I went on the website, he said. Pettit went to GetTrumpsWatches.com and picked out the pink inauguration First Lady model for his wife. Melanie Pettit said she likes the style, but it's what's missing. It's what the watch is missing, the T in Trump. That makes it stand out. I noticed right away the T is missing. It just says RUMP. The Pettits are wondering why a watch with such a glaring error was allowed to even be shipped out. How could they process this and go through something without checking their work? Melanie Pettit asked. I'm very disappointed, Tim Pettit said. I want to be a special thank for her. And we had expected that it would have the integrity of the President of the United States and good follow-through. Get Trump Watch's website calls its products the official watches of President Trump, but in the small print it notes that it licenses the name and likeness. The site also says that has nothing to do with any political campaign, that the watches are not designed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of their respective affiliates or principals. I think that someone needs to be aware of... Let's watch this. Is this a video about it? The rump watches.
In real estate.
Bama sent this to me, by the way. I didn't find this on my own. But I do think it's funny.
Adobe Acrobat AI Assistant.
I liked it because it's so...
Oh, God, it's real. It's real.
For the president and love.
Dude, it's real.
Thought it was really nice. It was beautiful. And I knew it would be something that she'd like.
A limited edition.
One of 250. So that attracted me.
And Tim Pettit shelled out $640 for a watch that may now be even more of a one-of-a-kind.
Thank God he got it before the tariffs.
Than he bargained for.
Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
Pettit bought the watch after hearing an ad like that one on the radio.
With the president's voice hawking the watches, and I was curious, so I went onto the website.
GetTrumpWatches.com. Pettit picked out the pink inauguration First Lady.
I'm so happy.
It's pink and it has little fireworks on it.
Melanie Pettit likes the style, but it's what this watch does not have that makes it stand out.
I noticed it right away. The T is missing.
They're more losers and suckers than the veterans Trump hates.
So it should say Trump.
Should say Trump.
Instead,
it says rump.
She has a $640.
Love it. I love it.
How could they process this and go through something without checking their work?
I'm very disappointed.
I bet you are.
A thing for her, and we had expected that it would have the integrity of the President of the United States and good follow-through.
The GetTrumpWatches.com site calls its products the official watches of President Trump, but in the small print, it notes that it licenses the Trump name and likeness. The site also states it has nothing to do with any political campaign, that the watches are not designed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of their respective affiliates or principals.
I think that someone needs to be aware of it in their licensing department. Someone's dropped the ball big time.
Because we're not getting any kind of support.
I hope nothing ever leaves a Chinese factory ever again with the T included in Trump's name.
And an apology would be nice for making my wife cry.
And I hope all those extra T's they have, they put it at the back end of all that MAGA gear they make.
My wife cry.
Making my wife cry.
Is someone there?
Hey,
Here, baby.
they made my wife cry. That is so funny, dude. So funny. In other news, the Trump administration rolled out their official policy, as official as it gets, I guess. Their official policy when dealing with claims from the media. Okay? I know it sounds silly, but you've got to have a policy of how to respond back to, claims, this, that, right? So we present united fronts, and they have rolled out their official policy, and I just want to make everybody aware of it. Let me pull it up.
He didn't say.
Here it is. The official Trump policy for dealing with media.
People always ask me. He didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean it, and if he did, it's not illegal, and if it is, everyone's doing it, and if they're not, she did something way worse.
Everybody catch that? He didn't say it, and if he did, he didn't mean it. And if he did, well, it's not illegal, and if it is, well, then, hold on, let's do it one more time.
He didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean it, and if he did, it's not illegal, and if it is, everyone's doing it.
Everybody's doing it.
She did something way worse.
And if they're not, she did it worse. But Biden.
He didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean it, and if he did, it's not illegal, and if it is, everyone's doing it, and if they're not, she did something way worse.
And if she didn't do it, yes, she did.
He didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean it, and if he did, it's not illegal, and if it is, everyone...
It's pretty standard practice there. Pretty standard way to, get through that, of course. He didn't say it, and if he did, he didn't mean it. And if he did, it's not illegal. And if it is, everybody's doing it. And if they're not, she did something way worse. We also have this barn burner coming from the White House.
Paparazzi, the media.
Who the hell sleeps in front of the paparazzi, the media? How do you sleep?
Who the hell sleeps in front of the paparazzi, the media? How do you sleep in front of the media? The cameras are rolling and he lays out. He's dead sound asleep. I wish I could have that secret because, you know, that's a talent. I wish I could do that. Sleep with the cameras. The guy can fall asleep instantly with the press watching. Who the hell wants to sleep with these people watching? And he's out cold. You see the dribble coming down the side of his chin. Who the hell sleeps in front of the paparazzi, the media?
It's true. Who the hell does that? Who the hell sleeps in front of the paparazzi, the media? The media. There was one I watched earlier that was so funny, but it was Fox News talking about Joe Biden, but they had put it in front of they had put Trump clips in there instead about he doesn't know what he's talking about, he gets confused, he doesn't know this, he doesn't know that somebody's controlling him kind of deal. I don't know if I have that one pulled up. That's all right. We still got a couple more, I guess. This one should bother everybody. This is Mike Johnson. The Mike Johnson, okay? It should bother everybody.
Well, look, you know, the salary of Congress has been frozen.
So he was asked, how do you feel about members of Congress trading stocks? Accusation of insider trading because they know information we don't, or at least they get it quicker than we ever could. What do you feel about members? How do you feel about members of Congress trading stocks and potentially banning that? Here's what we get.
Well, look, you know, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. You know, when you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residency or
less qualified people. So actually, what actually happens here, they only want to get they'll make so much more insider trading stocks than they ever will in what they get paid. They don't need a raise. They don't want a raise. They don't ask for a raise. But they will fight you tooth and fucking nail over trying to get them and their families and people underneath them to stop trading fucking stocks. Why is that? You could go tomorrow and say, we're going to double your salary. But you got to stop. And they would fight you tooth and fucking nail to the death. They don't want a raise. They want to keep trading stocks. And they want to come on and play to their base and lie and kiss Trump's ass or lie and attack Trump or do whatever they have to do for their base so they can get reelected and continue to trade stocks. Since 2009, we've had the last 3 Congresses have been the least efficient Congresses in history. And this is going to be the 4th. Less qualified people. They don't do shit now anyways.
qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to,
He almost said insider trading. At least let them do some little bit of insider trading. So,
like, engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to, take care of their family.
So they can take care of that. Who the fuck is in Congress that can't afford to take care of their family? I'm struggling to pay our bills right now. Like this is the last month that we were going to fucking like make it, and then it got worse when they cut off unemployment. Like I know what it's like to struggle, right? Who the fuck is in Congress that can't take care of their family? At least let them trade stocks so they can take care of their family. Who? It's not about taking care of their family. It's about making generational wealth for their family. None of them are on fucking government assistance. None of them are getting fucking food stamps. None of their kids go to goddamn regular private or public schools. They're all in private schools and engaged in this and that, whatever, right? None of them are getting fucking food stamps. None of them are on unemployment. None of their local churches are helping them pay their light bill. At least let them do some trading so they can take care of their families. It's insane, dude. This sounds like an interesting take. I like this guy. Let's see what he's got to say. Chris Goldsmith.
If you don't want Donald Trump to take that airplane, you are wrong. The Kingdom of Qatar is an ally of ours. We have a really big and important military base there. And it is absolutely clear that our allies, Qatar, the Kingdom of Qatar, are trying to curry favor with Donald Trump, the man, Donald Trump, the President of the United States. And it is clear from the Supreme Court and their immunity decision that Donald Trump can do whatever he wants. That is what Donald Trump believes. That's what he thinks. And he's mostly right. And all of the emoluments cases that were brought for the corruption that he was engaged in during the first administration, they all failed. I mean, we all saw it. It was plain as day. Donald Trump had a hotel just around the corner from the White House, and the Saudis and domestic and foreign actors alike would go there to bribe him and his family. They would schedule events there. They would rent out rooms and not actually use them, all to enrich Donald Trump and his family. Now, Donald Trump has clearly said that he intends to take this airplane, and after he uses it while he's president, he's going to give it to his library, the Trump Presidential Library. So it's very clear that he does not want to accept this as a gift from a foreign nation to the United States. He wants it to be from a foreign nation to Donald Trump and his legacy. Now, here's why I want him to take that plane. Because Americans can only handle so much corruption. And this kind of thing, this naked corruption, is going to be the kind of thing that it takes to make Americans absolutely freak out and say, no, you've gone too far. Because let's be real, that has not happened yet. All of the corruption that's been out in the open, those of us who are paying attention and care about the Constitution and can read the emoluments clause, which is pretty plain English, we are all fed up, but the average American is not. But when that man takes a $500 million plane, brings it to the United States, and spends another $500 million taking it apart, because that's what's going to need to happen. Every single screw, wire, transistor, every part of that plane will need to come apart, be checked, and likely replaced to make sure that it is secure enough for the President of the United States to fly on it. While Donald Trump has it in his mind that he will accept this plane and he'll be flying on it tomorrow, that's not going to happen. Instead, he's going to accept a $500 million bribe right out in the open, and then he's not even going to be able to use it. And he will lose his mind and talk about it all the time. Years will go by as they're stripping this plane and reassembling it, wasting hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. And assuming the McDonald's doesn't get to him before the end of his presidency, and neither does an impeachment, he may get lucky and get right to the end of his presidency and finally get to board this $1 billion bribery plane. And that will be his lasting legacy. Now, while Donald Trump has learned from the past 10 years that he can get away with anything and not get legally held accountable, those of us who care about the Constitution and care about the rule of law, we have also learned that what we've got on the books is not good enough yet. And a lot of Americans have also learned that we can't play the Merrick Garland, Joe Biden go along to get along and just assume that everything's going to go back to normal. We can't play that game anymore. It is my belief that if Donald Trump takes the Qatari bribery plane, the average American will be and it will create an appetite to change the law and prosecute corruption. Democratic Senator from New Jersey, Bob Menendez, learned the lesson that there are laws on the books about accepting bribes. So if gold bars and cars can get Bob Menendez thrown in jail, a gold-plated airplane, that might just do in Trump and his entire legacy. Just keep in mind, Donald Trump and his kids are banned from running nonprofits in the state of New York because they were stealing from veterans. I think they were also stealing from sick children. If Donald Trump keeps engaging in this quid pro quo, this absolute corruption, currying favor from the Qataris and any other foreign government that wants to bribe him, and we, the American people, demand an end to this corruption. We demand of our leaders that they enforce the Constitution and the law. I have no doubt that Donald Trump and everyone in his circle, his entire family, whether it's engaging in corruption through the Trump Hotel or the Trump meme coin or accepting a $1 billion bribery plane, I believe that there's going to be enough leaks, turncoats, and evidence to lock them all up. Everyone should get a fair hearing, and every American should see these trials. And when the Trump library is stripped for parts and given back to the Treasury, America will be better for it.
Damn. I mean, I guess that's a decent take, but do you think it's going to push the maggots away? I don't know. I just see him making these. I saw a guy today. I actually left a comment. It was on a local news station article about the plane. And he's like, I guess Joe Biden and Democrats want Qatar to give back their $3 billion they spent on the military base there, huh? Like that's equivalent. First of all, Qatar's Air Force is there. That's their headquarters base for their Air Force. Of course they're going to invest in that base. It's the headquarters for their Air Force. It's a joint base, right? It's U.S. and Qatar's Air Force there. It's their headquarters base. Another person said, oh, next the Democrats are going to be trying to give back the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, you remember when Joe Biden took the Statue of Liberty home and rode around in it with all of his fucking billionaire friends? They make the dumbest fucking arguments constantly, dude. The arguments don't even make sense. We do have an update on the epidemic of drag queens attacking children.
Did you hear about the drag queen that girls at a drag queen story hour? Oh, just kidding. He's a pastor from Sanford, Florida. Of course he's from Florida. But what about this gay guy from Columbus, Ohio? Oh, he's a leader at a megachurch. Also the son of the church founders. Well, here's a drag queen named Kevin Guy who's facing nearly 80 charges for crimes against children. Just kidding. He's a Christian youth group leader. I'm sure you're spotting the pattern here, but here's a few more for good measure. And keep in mind, these are fairly recent cases. Youth pastor James Lane from Wisconsin, April 9th, 2025. William Franklin Galbraith here, who tried to pay off his victim with $100. You can't make this stuff up. And this man, a former chaplain from Bangor, whatever.
Bangor, Maine.
With a lot of illegal material. All these cases, by the way, are from just the past month or two. Now let's try to look up how many gay people or drag queens, harmed children in the past couple months. All right, drag queen arrested child abuse. Let's see. Okay, well, there's that one case, but that's just an update from long ago. All right, let's keep going. Oh, evangelicals. Okay, well, there was one case from 2022, so not from the past month or two. So you get my point. The call is coming from inside the house. Hang up the phone. Did you hear about the drag queen that girls at a drag queen story hour? Oh, just kidding.
It's always the evangelicals. Also, this is an important update. I don't know if you guys know how to, this is a skill everybody should have, right? Be able to check the air pressure in your tires, right? So here's a quick instructional on that. I thought this video was fucking funny as shit.
People always ask me, Jeremy, how do you know how to change a spare tire? And I've got to be honest with you, my name's not Jeremy, it's Roger, and I'm not changing this tire. I'm slashing it because my coworker doesn't know how to watch her mouth. People always
That's a funny fucking viral video. Jeremy, how do you know how to change a spare tire? To be honest with you, my name's not Jeremy, it's Roger.
Jeremy, how do you know how to change a spare tire? And I've got to be honest with you, my name's not Jeremy, it's Roger, and I'm not changing this tire. I'm slashing it because my coworker doesn't know how to watch her mouth. People always ask.
That's a funny fucking video, dude. That was a well done video. All right, you guys want the straight? What's in the big beautiful bill? Oh wait, Trump monologue.
Hey, Dave Colombo, 5'11", willing to shave, and I will be auditioning with Donald Trump's actual remarks when asked how he decided to reopen Alcatraz. Okay, ready? Okay. Well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We're talking. We started with the movie making, yeah? But it will end. I mean, it represents something very
I don't know what you. I don't think you know what wet dream is.
strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? I mean, Alcatraz, Sing Sing in Alcatraz, the movies. Yeah. But right now it's a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. And it housed the most violent criminals in the world. And nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know, the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up. And it was a lot of shark bites. A lot of...
I know I probably overrepresent the use of wet dream. But it's something that, like when I say it's somebody's wet dream for, a black person to knock on their door and they've got a shotgun or whatever, it's something they would come to, right?
A lot of problems. Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz.
Nobody.
It sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable and weak. It's got a lot of qualities that are interesting, and I think they make a point. Thank you. Whatever medication you're on, it's not working. Oh.
He is pretty funny. He does all the weird Trump quotes. What else we got over here before we have to go to the bill?
Did you hear? I'm the Pope. I thought that image was AI. What? The Pope is from Chicago, okay? He might be a woke American, but he's an American. America is Pope. Have you seen his tweet about your vice president? No, but that was just bad timing. Okay, JD didn't drain the life from anyone. Are you talking about that meeting? What are you talking about? In his pre-Pope era, the Pope retweeted an article called JD Vance is wrong. You know what? Be polite. Actually, the platform's preferred name is X. Sure, but it was assigned Twitter at birth, so it'll always be Twitter. I don't need this right now. The Pope is a White Sox fan. What's going on at your airports? I mean, Newark is Newark. It's in New Jersey. And the planes that clipped wings on the runway in San Francisco a few days ago? Why did they touch each other? Ideally, planes, they don't touch. Mistakes happen. Oh, I know, because this also happened a month ago at Reagan Airport. Interesting. Is it safe to fly, though? You know who's gonna get on a flight? The immigrants who we're gonna send to prisons in Libya. The prisons that Amnesty International called horrific, those are the ones. That sounds like it would be in violation of at least one court order. Is Libya even on board? What do you want from me? I can't do 21 million zillion trials. I can't habeas corpus everyone. Maybe we should reopen Alcatraz. We should reopen Alcatraz. Alcatraz is controlled by the National Park Service. Don't worry about that. No one works there anymore. Isn't your Federal Bureau of Prisons experiencing a severe staffing shortage? So you do think we should send people to Libya? That's not what I think. Now is a good time to raise. I'm gonna raise a bunch of money by cracking down on tax evaders in the robber baron class. Nobody works at the IRS anymore either, but we could tax the rich a little bit. Just a little bit if you want to. If somebody else passes it. Are you trying to trick me? Also, we're gonna garnish people's wages. That's more what I was expecting to hear. Not regular people. People who made the mistake of pursuing higher education without coming from money. Are you sure you want to do that to your economy right now? Our economy is transitioning to greatness right now. Have I explained tariffs to you yet? Boy,
oh God.
Times, actually. And not once have you convinced me that you know how they work.
You want to see the most infuriating recent congressional testimony in the world? It'll make you mad.
I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia in this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
For the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have credibility, and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it doctored or not doctored?
The importance that the president has given me to do.
I understand. Is it doctored or not doctored?
One thing that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bull detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
You want to see the full clip?
The protocols in the case built against
I have to go find it.
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you take
I
her?
don't, sir.
Can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was
oh, this might have it in it.
On April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia's?
She won't look.
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal. He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia.
All those things you have to prove in court. And we're willing to say, send him to court. And if it comes back that he's violated a crime, deport him.
Garcia, when your team said, ma'am, you vouched for him when you said he was mistakenly deported.
She refuses to look at the picture.
I didn't vouch for.
She will not answer. Of course it's not printed on his fucking hand. She knows that. She will not answer. Well, the studies and symptoms and wife beater and...
I did not say
in
that.
that
He
photo,
should have been deported. Absolutely.
It's so telling that you won't look at the photo.
One more time. It's infuriating, dude. They don't give a fuck.
I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia in this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral.
And the only reason she won't admit it, let's be honest here. The only reason she won't say, yes, those letters aren't there, but we believe he's a member of MS-13. He's been proven by court, MS-13, whatever their normal rhetoric is, so we deported him, is because she knows that Trump will be mad. Tell me there's another fucking reason. Tell me that if she admits that the M, the S, the 1, and the 3 are not really there, that that'll derail the rest of their talking points they have. He's a wife beater, and he's a human trafficker. He should be deported, and 2 courts already found out that blah, 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 whatever. She's afraid of how Trump will feel if she says, how he'll react to her if she says, yes, that was added on.
Put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia in this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
For the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have credibility, and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it doctored or not doctored?
The importance that the president has given me to do.
I understand. Is it doctored or not doctored?
One thing that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bull detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Rodrigo
answer the
Garcia
question?
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have any.
She can still say that. She can still say the protocols, everything was built was exactly the same. He's a wife beater, he's a human trafficker. He's 2 courts ruled that he was a member of MS-13. The law enforcement arrested him with gang members. He had money on his shirt with eyes scratched out. Well, all that. But she could also say, yes, someone added those to relate to the tattoos he actually has and prove that he's a member of MS-13. She cannot even say that the photo's edited in any way, shape, or form. She cannot address this photo because it could make dear leader look bad. You know, this is the same shit they do in like these fucking crazy communist countries, right? Where you can't call out the leader at all, or you end up fucking dead.
Have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to?
Okay, can you
I
take
don't, sir.
Can you show her the photo? Walk with the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal. He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when
You're
your team
vouching
said,
for a man
ma'am, you vouched for him when you said he was mistakenly deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say
in
that. He should
photo,
have been deported. Absolutely.
It's so
There was
telling
never a
that you
mistake
won't look at the
deport him.
photo.
All right. Before we go to the big, beautiful bill, I want to talk about they're trying to put in, they gave up on Social Security, okay? No one's even talking about it now. Instead, they're doing tax on overtime, tax on tips, okay? But the people who would really benefit from this, like me when I worked on the road, it's not going to apply to, and I'll tell you why, okay? So let's talk about overtime. When I worked on the road, we would work a minimum of 72 hours a week. I'm sorry, of 84 hours a week. 7/12 is what I was thinking. 7/12, 84 hours a week, minimum. That was it. You were working 7/12. We would make a shit ton of money, and it would be taxed so heavily. People like that work on oil rigs or pipelines or shutdowns or maintenance, out-of-town maintenance. Those are the people that would actually benefit from this no tax on overtime or benefit substantially from it, okay? What they want to do is have you still pay taxes on your overtime as normal, but you could deduct some of it when you pay taxes. So basically the way it would work, individual workers would be able to deduct up to $10,000 in overtime pay, while married couples would be able to deduct $20,000. But I'm telling you, when I worked out on the road, like these people who would really benefit from it, the people who work on the road and work a shit ton of overtime, who should benefit from it if they're going to do this, more of their pay is overtime than their regular pay, right? When you're working 84 hours a week, more of your pay, way over $10,000, way over $20,000, even if you're married, right? This is going to affect people who make less than $10,000 in overtime. So like maybe you have to go on overtime once a month or something, like it's your weekend to do overtime or something. That would affect you, but it's going to be a much smaller amount than the people who are like, oh my God, if they get rid of tax on overtime, I'm going to make a fucking killing. You know what I mean? That would have been me. And it phases out at $100,000. So again, those people that work on the road and make money and are working 84 hours a week out on the road, they're going to be phased out of it anyways. And again, you have to pay it up front, and you're allowed to claim it on your taxes. Or at least that's the way it's phrased so far. Same thing with no tax on tips. They gave up on the Medicaid part of it, but the no tax on tips has, let's see. It's funded out. They try to say extremely well paid individual or some shit. I bet it's not extremely well paid. Highly paid individuals or something like that. It doesn't include any job where you might not typically get tips, right? It doesn't include that. Let's see if we can find it. Highly compensated employees. It has an income cap of around $100,000 as well. The maximum deduction for it, though, is $25,000. The maximum deduction for tips is higher than the maximum deduction for overtime. They know they're fucking people over with the overtime shit, right? I'm trying to find the details from it. Hold on. Axios probably got it. Any cash tips received by an individual in an occupation that traditionally and customarily receives tips, so like waitress, I guess. They haven't really outlined who, like, I got tips when I worked as a trash truck driver, like recycling bins of trash trucks. So I don't know what traditionally and customarily means, but there you go. Would be eligible for the no tax provision. Such language would presumably prevent higher paid professionals from somehow classifying regular income as fees. Think accountants, lawyers, and others who charge fees for services. These tax breaks will start in 2025 and expire in 2028. Again, every time there is a break for you, every time there's a break for you, the regular people, this is on the overtime one as well, they fucking expire. They are making the tax breaks for the billionaires permanent with this bill. You're no tax on tips. You're no tax on overtime from 2025 to 2028. Then it expires. It does not include anything for Social Security income, but there may be an extra bonus if you're on Social Security and also itemize your federal return. You could get up to $4,000 back. Nobody on Social Security itemizes their fucking return, but whatever. Earning less than $75,000. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to affect nearly as many people as it should. It's going to phase out. It's not great. It's not great. But that's part of the big, beautiful bill because she's going to talk about it in a second. I'm going to show you a video from the news lady because she tries to cover stuff with little bias, right? At least I think she does. And she's going to put both those points in there, the tax on tips and tax on overtime, but they're not as good as they fucking sound. Here we go.
All the pieces of President Trump's so-called one big beautiful bill are in. Now, to be clear, this is the bill that includes the Trump tax cuts, which will cost more than $4 trillion, the spending cuts that the Republicans want, and the increase to the debt ceiling of more than $4 trillion, all wrapped into one. Now, Republicans crafted this entire thing by themselves, and they plan to pass this entire thing by themselves through the reconciliation process. Now, if you don't know what that is or how it works, go watch this video. Okay, because this thing is made up of 12 separate House bills totaling well over 1,000 pages. Yes, I spent the day today reading it. I obviously can't cover everything in the bill, so I'm just going to give you like one.
Again, it's huge. By the way, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years ago, the big trend was stop putting together these bills that are thousands of pages and nobody has time to read them. We don't even know what's in it. Wasn't that the trend that all the Republicans are screaming? They didn't read it. They don't know what's in it. There's so much stuff. Now they're trying to put thousands of pages together for Trump's one big, beautiful bill. They still don't know what the fuck's in it.
Line for some of the biggest and most important items in the bill that I think you're going to care about. Now, if something catches your eye in this story, just write it in the comments and I'll try and make a separate video about those things with more detail like I normally do. Also, keep in mind, this is just the House version. This bill, if if it passes the House, and that's a big if, it would still need to pass the Senate, and it's very possible that some of this stuff is going to change again. So this is not the final. Also, if you want to read these bills for yourself, I will email them out to you tonight in my Facts HQ email, so make sure you sign yourself up. Obviously, this is a very deep dive, so buckle up. Let's go. This bill makes the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which we're still using to this day, permanent. Taxing the rich, aka adding a new higher tax bracket for millionaires and billionaires, not included. This bill does include no tax on tips, but you still have to report them on your taxes. The way it works in the bill is from tax years 2025 through 2028 only, you can deduct only
2025 through 2028 only
qualified tips you receive.
Does the billionaire tax breaks expire? No. That's going to become permanent law? Because they're going to expire right now if we do nothing, right? Right.
On your tax return. You cannot deduct tips if you are considered a highly compensated employee. You cannot deduct tips if you are in a job that doesn't normally receive tips. And you cannot deduct tips if you do not have a Social Security number. This bill includes no tax on overtime, but it may not be what you think. The bill says your overtime is still going to be taxed on each of your paychecks. And then at the end of the taxable years, only from 2025 through 2028, you can deduct your qualified overtime.
I hate to tell you, but most people aren't paying taxes on cash tips anyways. Just going to be honest with you. They're pocketing cash tips.
Okay, you cannot deduct overtime if you are considered a highly compensated employee, and you cannot deduct your overtime.
Highly compensated employee. $100,000. Highly compensated employee. There are people on the road that work on the road that would go from making $110,000 to like $250,000 if they didn't tax their overtime. It would change their fucking lives, dude. But they're not going to qualify.
If you do not have a Social Security number. The bill includes no tax on car loan interest, but only for taxable years 2025 through 2028. It applies only to personal vehicles with a...
I don't know. I guess this is going to be deductible. And it's only American-made cars. I guess you're going to deduct it from your federal taxes. How much interest you paid on your car loans. Or how much no tax on car loan interest. So you won't pay tax on the interest. Okay. Sorry, I'm still reading. For interest paid on auto loans, the same way that you can, I guess you can deduct interest paid on like a home loan. For U.S. made vehicles. Deduct the interest paid on their loans. However, it is uncertain whether the deduction would apply to taxpayers who take the standard of federal income or they'd have to itemize everything. I don't know.
Final assembly in the United States and only applies to interest paid or accrued during those taxable years. Up to 10.
Only from 2025 to 2028. So you better get a 3-year fucking car loan. Okay?
$1,000 per year.
Up to $10,000. That's it.
It does not apply to a lease, a commercial vehicle used for business, and a few other types of vehicles. And it gradually phases out for Americans.
Again, if you make over $100,000, fucked.
Making more than $100,000 a year. This bill does not include no tax on Social Security. Sorry, seniors. I know Trump made that promise, but it's...
Wouldn't that benefit the most people? That not the most people, the people who actually need it. I shouldn't say the most, like not by numbers. Wouldn't this be the biggest benefit to people? The ones that are on Social Security? They just fucking skipped right over that one.
Not in there. But it does allow seniors to deduct up to $4,000 from taxable years 2025 through 2028 if you itemize. This bill adds $500 to the child tax credit from 2025 to 2028. That would make the credit up to $2,500 for qualified taxpayers under a certain.
That's $500 child tax credit. Makes the child tax credit $2,500 for qualified parents and dependents under the age of 17.
Income for kids under the age of 17. The credit would go back to $2,000 a year after 2028.
And then it expires after 2028.
This bill does make significant cuts and changes to Medicaid, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates will absolutely cut more than $715 billion from the program over the next 10 years. But over that same 10 years,
8.7 million people are going to be kicked off of it. That's where they're getting the savings from. I know they're going to say, well, these are just basic work standards and this and requirement changes and blah, blah, blah. We're just trying to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. No, they're trying to drive people out of the system to save money for billionaires' tax cuts.
the CBO says it will also kick at least 8.6 million Americans out of Medicaid. For those who are still eligible, this bill would require Medicaid beneficiaries.
Yeah, unless you really stay on top of itemizing, you're usually better. Most people are better off taking the standard deduction.
To pay more for doctor's visits and complete more pay.
Recipients will pay more for doctor's visits. So even if you are on Medicaid, Medicare,
Paperwork in order to prove their eligibility. It would also impose a requirement for lower income childless adults between the ages of 19 and 64 to prove that they are working at least 80 hours a month to
80 hours a month to even get this, right? New work requirements.
Qualify. And because of a federal credit reduction, it will make paying for this.
This is the cutting federal credits to states. It's going to bankrupt some of the states because they can't afford their own Medicaid programs.
State portion.
Lots of red states.
And difficult for a lot of state governments to handle. This bill passes most of the cost of administering SNAP food assistance to the states. This bill increases the work requirement age to 64 years old, up from 54.
Imagine getting food stamps at 60 years old. Right? You're probably on that Social Security. You're getting food stamps just to live at 60 years old. And you have a work requirement for the next 4 years to work till you're 64 to get food stamps. They don't actually believe that people between 54 and 64 will go out and work and do their work requirements, right? They know that they'll drive people out of the system with this. They know they'll drive people out of the system with this, and they can use it to say we save money, so it didn't cost us so much to give those billionaires tax cuts.
4 years old in order to be eligible for SNAP, and redefines dependent child to under the age of 7 instead of under the age of 18. The bill appropriates $46.5 billion through September of 2029, specifically for Trump's border wall and other border barriers, with
$46.5 billion through September 2029. Border wall and border barriers, upgraded border checkpoints, vehicles, and hire more agents.
Billions more allocated for upgraded Border Patrol checkpoints, new Border Patrol vehicles, and hiring more Border Patrol agents. The bill adds what's called a MAGA account starting in the year 2026, which is like a trust or a savings account for newborns that parents can contribute to every single year. If the child is born in the next few years, the law says that child would.
So from 2026 to 2028, if you have a kid, they're going to open up a trust savings account for a kid that's invested in, I guess, the stocks, and they're going to put $1,000 in it for the kids. For the babies born between 2026 and 2028. And you can contribute to it too, or you can just keep it, but you have to go and sign up for it.
Also receive a bonus $1,000 if the parents open one of these accounts. This bill cuts the clean vehicle tax credit, it cuts the energy efficient home improvement credit, and it cuts the residential clean energy credit.
Why? Clean vehicle tax credit gone, energy efficient home improvement credit, which like if you put insulation in, or a better water heater, or a better heat pump, energy efficient home improvement credit, residential clean energy credit. Direct file tax program gone.
It also terminates the direct.
That's where if you have a simple return and you make less than like 150K. No, it doesn't have to do with how much. It's just how simple your return is. You can file for free with the IRS.
File program, which allowed all taxpayers to calculate and file their taxes directly with the IRS, eliminating the need to buy software like TurboTax or TaxSlayer. So if this bill is passed, yeah, all that's going to be gone. This bill solidifies into law President Trump's repeal of the de minimis tax exemption for imported goods coming into this country. So there will be no import.
They're getting rid of the de minimis permanently. This is the one where if like I order something from Temu or you order something from Temu, you don't pay tariffs on it because we're not a business, right? We're just ordering something less than $800. No more.
That will qualify for the under $800 duty-free provision anymore after 2026. This bill sets aside $25 billion as a down payment for President Trump's Golden Dome, which Trump says would be sort of like the Iron Dome that's over.
This is the dumbest thing that Trump has suggested, but here we go. Tell me you don't know how air defense works without telling me.
Israel. The bill makes $625 million available for security planning and costs related to the 2026 FIFA World Cup and sets aside $1 billion for the 2028 Olympics. Of course, none of this is set in stone.
What do you mean split shipment? It doesn't matter the amount. Like you can't, if it's coming from a foreign country, you still have to pay tariffs on it. It used to be if it was below $800, you didn't have to do it. But it's gone now. Trump's already got it through EO gone, and he's going to codify it into law.
Iron Dome, that's over Israel. The bill makes $625 million available for security planning and costs related to the 2026 FIFA World Cup and sets aside $1 billion for the 2028 Olympics. Of course, none of this is set in stone yet. We will have to wait and see if the Republicans in the House can pass all this stuff. All the pieces of President Trump's so-called one big...
So that is the way right now. It was way up there. It was like 80% or some shit. They reduced it down to like 50-some percent or 30-some percent. I can't remember. But it used to be zero if you're under $800. But they're putting into law that there's no de minimis. It was like a minimum amount before you get tariffed. Not anymore. That's the big beautiful bill on the House side. We'll have to see what passes, what don't. There are Republicans saying it's political suicide to start cutting Medicaid and Medicare. There are other ones saying, well, we're not cutting it. We're just doing work requirements and this and, stop paying states for it and doing that. They are cutting it, right? They weren't going to come out and say, okay, we're going to randomly pick 8.7 million people to stop giving health care to. They're going to make it harder to get, knowing people may not see the notice, may not know about it, may not do this, may not be able to do that, may fall behind, may not meet their 80 hours one week, and any way to get them kicked off, right? Any way to get them kicked off. The harder you make it, the less people that are going to use it, and you can say we saved money by giving the billionaires tax cuts. I wanted to show some of this. Here we go.
All right, guys, everything.
Fuck Trump.
The Secret Service.
Let's go to Diddy.
TikTok. I love you guys. Thank you. Now, Daniel Phillips took the stand first this morning, and man, was he slick. I made the joke in the overflow courtroom because yesterday he was in a suit. Today he was just like a shirt button down. You were seeing some chest. And as we know, this guy has the biggest D, the biggest eggplant in NYC. And he felt that on the stand. He was like, oh man, they're feeling me. Harlem, what's up? I mean, he was Harlem shaking to that stand. Anyway, I digress. He was wearing a white button down, no suit. He thinks he's a celebrity now. And I caught a glimpse of some of the jury. I'm not positive about this. Maybe like 5 white dudes, some old, 1 middle-aged, a black female, a Latina woman, a black woman who had hair braids. So it was a pretty diverse, but I will say I think it's a majority white jury. Anyway, so the cross-examination came, and this guy.
I want to see some of the testimony.
Secret Service Sam here, president of TikTok, #1 comedy journalist. So we are picking up here with Daniel Phillips on the stand. Day 2. So what the Diddy's defense is attempting to do is paint it as though Diddy was not directing everything, that Cassie and Daniel Phillips were acting on their own. So he would say, so Cassie took the lead. Daniel Phillips said, that is not correct. No. He said, so you took the lead. He says, no. We were equally doing our own thing. I wouldn't say there was a leader in it. So they were coming together, baby oil. They would always the baby oil. FYI, sidebar. That's what the judge Subramium says when all lawyers are like, they can't agree there. He goes, sidebar, come on over and get the Snickers bar. Diddy used to drink liquid boog shug. Never heard of that in my life. Went to school in Colorado, saw a lot of the boog shugs. Never done it. Not my deal.
Liquid cocaine.
But he drank it. Think about that. That is like a monster drink on crack. Anyway, I digress. So, Diddy decided positions for them, right? They did not decide it. But the first time Diddy did not give direction, he said they just kind of went together. There was a flow. He said she was not high, because this is what you'll see now. They were trying to say, oh, she's all messed up. Her brother's party almost, off somebody, was messed up. Now they're trying to paint Cassie like she's sober, to say during, some of these early freak-off interactions that she was sober and wanted to do it and was not being coerced like they're trying to prove. Cassie did not drink. She was not high. So she was in complete control of everything she was doing. And Dan Phillips said, I can't say that. And he wore no Jimmy hat, right? And he busted a Nizzo inside. Sorry, guys, these are the facts. This is an adult case.
A Nizzo.
With a credit card for the hotel. He's trying to say, so Cassie paid, the strip tease service. He was hired. And this is a funny thing, too. They wanted him to dress up as an NYPD or a police officer. Maybe it was LAPD, one of the two. So he couldn't find one. He went to the store and just got a police shirt and showed up. Anyway, she charged a hotel to her credit card, but not the service, which they were trying to say she did. She gave cash to pay for him. I don't know what she paid for. She paid for, a dancer in cash. Anyway, there was an assault at Cassie's apartment at 10 West 11th Avenue after Gramercy. So remember, the Gramercy Hotel is the first time they freaked off with Daniel Phillips. Keep it going. We're going to keep this rolling. There's a lot. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of TikTok.
I think there's some. I think I need to go to some earlier ones. Is what I was saying. Yeah, these are the ones I was saying with him in the blues. Hold on. All right, listen to some of these.
This is everything on the Diddy trial. This is on Daniel Phillips. This is witness number 2, who was a male escorte, it turns out. Now, we heard about the first time he had S with Cassie. He was very quick because it was like the hottest girl I'd ever seen. They rubbed baby oil on each other. The baby oil was always there. That's the craziest part. It's a joke, out to all of us, but no, the baby oil was always there. And Diddy, here's a common theme. They always said, and I was saying, let's do a drinking game. Every time they say Diddy was in the corner, wacko, 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 smacking it. That's what he liked to do. He said the S did not last long, and he did not use a Jimmy hat. Crazy. He raw dogged Cassie. He got a couple $1,000s. Diddy said, hey, I got issues, quote, with your boss. He's aggressive.
Paid a couple $1,000s to fuck Cassie while Diddy jerked in the corner. Like, I don't ever think I could do the cuck chair, but if someone wants to pay me and just watch me go to town, that's fine. I'm good.
And I want to see us again. Cassie took his number. He left the hotel. Cassie asked for a D pic because she said he had the biggest one she's ever seen, which must be impressive. So I'm sure she saw a few. He gave her a picture. She asked for S again, like that night pretty much. Second time he went for a few hours. Nice work. And Diddy handed out Cialis and the baby oil. That was his combo. Again, what was Diddy doing? Sitting in the corner, swacky slacky, the chickens, choking chicken sacks out. And he said nothing, just sitting there creeping in the corner. He had S with Cassie a few times after that. Did you ever meet with them outside of S? He said no. He also gave out Diddy's old address where he had S, 210 West 56th Street, and Cassie's was number 10 West End Avenue. So the places they had S were Gramercy Park Hotel, Jeremiah Essex Hotel, Diddy's house, and Cassie's house. This is heating up. Now, when he came back to the hotel that night, Cassie told him, tell the front desk you are there to see black. It was just that. And he said he would have to be ready sometimes hours before when they call, or days. He never knew when. Things happened. He sent her, when he wanted to check in on her, because he started to like her, and he would send her text messages, and this cracked up the whole courtroom when he said, I want to F you right now. She never responded to it, but that was his way of checking in. And he said one time he got there and he thought something had already happened, because there's always towels on the bed, candles, baby oil, and Astroglide. Nobody's talking enough about the Astroglide. And he actually got sent one time to go to the pharmacy to get baby oil.
He got sent one time to go to the pharmacy to get baby oil. They also sent him one time to buy a police shirt. He would make them role play like they just bumped into each other in an airport while he's sitting in the corner jerking his shit.
He asked for baby oil. Diddy would say, y'all need to rub more oil. You don't have enough on, quote Diddy. He would give directions, tell us things like, slow down, separate, it's getting too hot, daddy. He would have them role play like they just met at the airport, but Daniel said they were terrible actors. And Diddy would say, don't go yet. If you feel like it, don't. Could you imagine that? I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna. The first time there was no direction. After that, Diddy always directed. He said, don't do it. And he would tell him where to bust the Nizzo, if you know what I mean. Either on his stomach or inside. This is intense. I will continue with more of this testimony. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of TikTok. All right, guys, is everything on. Patriots, his Secret Service Sam. Like I said, I was there at the Diddy trial today, and Diddy's daughters walked out on the trial. I saw it happen. As you can see in one of my videos, I actually walked out with the entire family. The press are savages. They don't care at all. It's just a spectacle to them. They couldn't even let them get into the Sprinter van. You can see me. I just go over to the Sprinter van and I'm out. I'm like, these guys are crazy. So much explicit stuff. But it's like, who wants to hear about their dad sitting in a corner, you know, smacking the salami dough, if you know what I mean? A lot of graphic stuff that as kids, you know, it's already bad enough that their dad's facing all these charges, but they don't need to hear about that stuff. I'm a father, and I feel for those daughters. I feel for the kids. They're sweet kids. I saw them in court. Diddy blew kisses to his son, blew kisses to his daughter. Look, for all we know, he's not guilty yet, and he seems like he is a great father. He loves his kids. This is a sad situation, but there's a lot of dark things that happen to some of their mothers. I mean, Kim Porter's not even with us, the Diddy-monia. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. I'm going to keep reporting on this. I got a lot more to come. Secret Service.
Next one.
So here was the bombshell.
This is the golden shower part
that Daniel Phillips gave. All right, and he was the guy who was, you know, hired by Diddler and Cassie allegedly. And the prosecutor says, how many times did you? That Daniel Phillips gave. All right, and he was the guy who was, you know, hired by Diddler and Cassie allegedly. And the prosecutor says, how many times did you pee on her? Oh my God, Patriots, listen to this. Cassie asked if he had done that before. She said, and he said no. She said, do it. And then she's got mad. She said, you're doing it wrong. She said, just a little bit at a time. Apparently, Daniel Phillips had never given a golden shower before and just let it go, just drain the main vein. And I've never done this before. This is where today the case took a turn for the R. Kelly. And I mean, yeah, she was saying you got to let it drip. So for anybody who plans to ever consensually do something like that, you got to let it drip in the mouth. That's apparently testimony for, you know, that's allegedly according to, that's what the witness said about Cassie Ventura. Okay, I move on. Diddy, what was Diddy doing? We guys know who. Yeah, yes, you read it in the back. That's right. Diddy was smacking the wackalin in the corner like he did while Daniel Phillips was in his girl's mouth. That's crazy. He asked Cassie for an STD history. He brought his papers. She never brought hers. Interesting. They finished. He stayed for hours. They would always say they would go back into a room. So they would meet at these hotels. And whenever they were finished, you know, doing the gang, then Diddy and Cassie would go into the hotel room. Sometimes they would come out like an hour later and it was go time again. I mean, dude, I don't know how they do this for days, but it's Cialis and the Molly, bro. How many times? Oh, this was good. This is crazy. Daniel Phillips pretended to, and Diddy goes into the room, right? Left him for hours, and because he, you know, went inside her, and because guys fake it too. This is something we learned. Sean came out of the room and he said, "Are you sure you bloop, 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 bloop?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, man, yeah." Sean did not believe him because I don't know, maybe he checked. So crazy. I'm gonna give you more.
Because I think he's into tasting it from the old meat wallet. Like he wants to make a withdrawal of a sample from the meat wallet. And when there was no sample in there, he's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I know the taste. Is this not wild, the Diddy case, dude? And there was a video from like years ago, this Daniel Phillips guy getting arrested for something else. I don't know what he's arrested for. And he's like screaming about like people paying him to like fuck their chick, like this crazy wacky shit, and people following him, and he's being harassed, and he thinks these people after him killing. And now it all comes to light that he was telling the truth.
Patriots, more Diddy updates on which
Patriots.
Number 2, Daniel Phillips, who was the male escort hired by them. Now, the second time I believe he met them at the Dream Hotel, like I mentioned before, when he met Diddy the first time, Diddy had a bandana covering his face and a hat on backwards. Did not say he was Diddy. When asked what business he did, he said import-export. Hilarious. The whole court laughed. He knocked on the door. Diddy opened the door dressed in a suit this time. No face cover. He said he never wore a mask again, so he was cool. Diddy recorded them 1 to 2 times with a cell phone and a camcorder device. Diddy asked for driver's license. So listen to that. This is where witness number 2 said, for insurance just in case, if he spoke about this, right? He was threatening me, is what the witness said. The Agnifilo, you know, or Brian Steele, they kept saying, objection, objection. You know, they can't say, oh, yeah, he was, because
the diddler, boys.
What's going to happen, but let's keep it a buck. When somebody asks for your driver's license outside of a police officer or a go-kart track, it's a threatening thing. They're getting your address and info. Now, Cassie was out. Diddy said, not going to happen today. Oh, that was a crazy thing. He went over there one time, and Cassie was out cold on the couch. They said half her body was on the couch, half her body was on the floor, and she was in lingerie, slumped over on the couch, and Diddy actually said, yeah, it's not going to happen today. Like, he called him over, and it didn't happen. Cialis and Molly, that's what they say. Molly became, oh, this is amazing. This is breaking. Daniel Phillips said the Molly that he got from Diddler made him become a totally different person. He went to Times Square with I believe he said it was $4,000 that he was paid for this experience, and threw out $100 bills in Times Square. Did you guys hear that? The Molly was so good, son. He became a totally different person and gave all of the money he made that night away. It was all a stack of $100 bills, and he went like, just throwing it out. Amazing story.
This is crazy, dude. The Diddler.
Continue, guys. Secret Service Sam here. So Daniel Phillips, witness number 2, had taken Molly, like I said, went to Times Square, became a different person, and with the money that he
That's good Molly. That's right.
He started throwing $100 bills out in Times Square, and this is an insane story. He said, there was another.
I think I'm gonna have to go back to drug dealing. I think until I get my VA shit pushed through.
Having S with Cassie. Cassie was blowfishing Diddy, if you know what I mean, okay? The guy kept looking at Diddy in the face, and Diddy goes, "Look, mother effer, stop looking at my face." And he said, "I'm not looking at you." And Cassie ran off because she was scared, okay? So there was a showdown because apparently this guy was staring at Diddler too long, which what are you gonna do when you're bumping knuckles? Cassie came back to the couch. She was scared to go back to the couch. After Molly, he got cash and yes, handed it out in Times Square. Came back to the hotel, tiles on floor, baby oil on floor, Astroglide everywhere. Seemed like some action had already gone down. He had said he was paid $700 to $6,000 at a time. Cassie always paid Daniel Phillips. Daniel said, did you get your bread? You know, like from Cassie. And he had said, "Had you ever been paid for S before?" They asked Daniel Phillips, "Was he an escort?" He said, "No." He was saying no. When he didn't perform well, he did not get paid. So you have to perform in Diddy's world to get paid. And they said, "Why go back if not paid?" And he said he was just excited to be there around famous people in the scene. And he didn't even care to be paid. That's how we know Daniel Phillips wasn't even really an escort at all. He was just like, they had money and wanted to do it. And he thought, cool, I'm hanging out with Diddy and getting to have, S with the hottest girl he'd ever seen. So he almost became this in a way. So it's so interesting. It goes on. I got notes, baby, for years. I haven't taken notes in years. Shout out to Miss Rosencrantz, my special school district. She was my speech therapist, resource room teacher. Everybody said I always had so many learning disabilities, guys, and would never be able to do anything like this, and I'm doing it. Thanks to you guys. I love you guys. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of TikTok. Diddy updates continue.
All right, some more.
Update on
scared for his life.
Daniel Phillips, the witness number 1, said after the first time he saw Diddy hit Cassie, he couldn't get his little Jimmy. He couldn't get his Jimmy excited anymore. ED. He said he had S with Cassie and Diddy came out. Cassie was on her computer. Here's him describing it. He yelled, "Babe, come here." Okay? Cassie said, "Hold on 1 second. I have personal information on my computer. I'm closing my computer down." Diddy comes out and throws a liquor bottle, is what he thought, at her head. It hits the wall, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her into the bedroom. She was screaming. He pulled her in, and then this is when Daniel Phillips said in the room he heard sounds slapping.
It is in this context. What did Google tell you? It is about sex in this. What did it tell you? Like a fist bump, maybe?
Slapping. Cassie said, "I'm sorry."
It told you cocaine? What kind of fucked up Google you got over there? Did you type in knuckle bump or bumping knuckles? We're going to have to teach you how to... A bump is a small amount of cocaine. Bumping knuckles, in the context he used it, they were talking about sex.
I'm sorry. He said B word. When I tell you to come, you come now, not later. Jeez, Lord. He was shocked by the violence.
I wish I had this type of fucking stage direction. Sometimes I get lost. Am I supposed to do it now? Later? Are you tired? We got a good camera angle? Sometimes I get lost. I want somebody to tell me like this.
Diddy comes out and throws a liquor bottle, is what he thought, at her head. It hits the wall, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her into the bedroom. She was screaming. He pulled her in, and then this is when Daniel Phillips said in the room he heard sounds slapping. Cassie said, I'm sorry. He said, B word. When I tell you to come, you come now, not later.
Come now!
Jeez, Lord. He was shocked by the violence, terrified, Daniel Phillips was. Came out of nowhere. Why did he not intervene And Daniel Phillips said because Diddler's security was like so close, always in the other room, 5 guys, they would have unalived him. He said, if I did something, I might lose my life. That was a...
Even when I type in bumping knuckles, cocaine, it doesn't even bring that up. It brings up national hotline, cocaine crack, what is it? Signs and symptoms of cocaine use, signs of cocaine use, skin problems and disorders linked to cocaine use, harm reduction and overdose prevention cocaine, but nothing about cocaine from your knuckles. Oh, are you using Urban Dictionary? Don't use Urban Dictionary. Just use regular Google. Because sometimes people just put funny shit on Urban Dictionary that's not real. That's probably the problem. What I would do is if it's when you're using Google, it's let me teach you how to find cool stuff on Google. You're using Google, type in just on regular Google, type in bumping knuckles, and then in whatever word. If you know it's not used like they were actually bumping knuckles, like in a literal form, type in slang or like headed to the set. Then the word slang, SLANG. That'll help sometimes. Or taking a bump, slang. Sometimes people put weird shit on. Urban Dictionary is full of stuff that doesn't make any fucking sense. Just so you know. Stuff that no person has ever used. And I don't know, people just make up funny shit to tag their friends in it. Because anybody, it's like Wikipedia. Anybody can add to it.
Bombshell when I heard that one today. Patriots, Secret Service Sam, Mount Sampson for president of TikTok. Patriots, this is Secret Service Sam. I am in the line, the Diddy line, they call it. We are here with all the major top journalists. They all...
That's just an update from outside.
I'm about to go in. Here is the Diddy line, folks. It is long and it is strong. And it's down to get the friction on, if you know what I mean. Bad boys.
Need some
prison. Maybe we don't know. Is Diddy going to catch this case or not? There's this guy right here who's been talking a lot of smack. He has some kind of sock with a pool ball in it. And so I went and told the DHS, the police, and they're aware of it.
A sock with a pool ball would fuck people up, dude.
I mean, he's talking a lot of crazy junk. And they're like, if he threatens somebody, let us know. They're watching him now.
The Alabama Hot Pocket is not a real thing.
In the trash. So what would I bring it in there today?
He's yelling free Diddy. He's yelling that, you know.
But the Tennessee logjammer is.
It's crazy. He's saying that, you know, people who are gay are, it's wrong and all this crazy stuff. I told him, no, it's not. And he almost came over here and wanted to point that sock at me. So I went and told DHS. I went full Blake Lively Karen on him. You know how I do. So let me know if Patriots, what you think in a comment. They're about to start lettucing.
The hardest part is finding somebody that's not afraid of heights because you need somebody on top of the ladder. That's been my issue the whole time. I'm not afraid of heights, but then I make a good base. I'm sturdy, right? That's how most people describe me, sturdy. So if I'm going to have to be on the ladder, we're going to have another sturdy guy at the bottom. Sturdy. I've said it so much it doesn't sound like a real word. Am I saying it wrong?
Patriots is... So Patriots, so Diddy update. Kathy Ventura. Patriots, Secret Service. Okay, guys, so I just came out of the Diddy trial. Got a ton of notes for you guys. I'm going to break down these videos. I got to get out of it. Patriots is Secret Service.
Anyways.
I'm back in La La Land, but I got a lot of stuff to get.
Freak off tapes not shown.
Followers, it's a revolution.
This guy's name is Secret Service Sam. You can check him out on TikTok. I'm sure he has other things as well. So there you go. I'm out of here for the night. I just wanted to show you how crazy the Diddy trial is. Like they're talking about golden showers. They're talking about the baby oil directions come now because I told you I can't even taste your semen inside her vagina, which is blowing my mind. All kinds of crazy shit. Please consider supporting the show. We are struggling right now to keep everything maintained, mostly because the federal government cut off the unemployment we were expecting. So we'll see how that works out. We're working on some other options. I don't want to have to shut down the show. So we're working on some options while I try to get my disability straightened out. But if you can support the show, we greatly appreciate it. If you can't, I understand. Please like, share, whatever you can do. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular
Just be advised, if I get too pissed off with the whole process, I'll probably just disappear one day and go back to working on the road and not speak to anybody for a few years. So you'll see me sometime in the future, I'm sure. But
okay, Scott.
I have wild swings of what's going on.
Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started.
I honestly think the VA system is set up to make veterans quit before they get the rating that they're owed. I really do. I think they want to make you so goddamn frustrated with the whole thing that you're like, fuck this. And then they act like they get mad at you if you hire like an agent to represent you or a lawyer or whatever, and they penalize you that way too. Like it's like you're fucked both ways.
He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'm gonna make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
I did see something about the Mexican drug cartel. 17 members of the Sinaloa cartel may or may not have turned themselves in. There's people that's got videos of them like under armed escort walking across the border.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit.
What is happening in the chat?
That stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I blew.
That is insanity, honestly.
Strapped to an F-16, high on amphetamine.
I feel like I need a bodyguard.
Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This mom's an alcoholic. Give me oh my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go.
You guys want to see a jump scare before we go?
Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best.
Have a good one.